Minister of ECYS congratulates Special Olympians. Elderly couples still unable to return to hurricane-damaged home. But first, USP voices dissatisfaction with the NAUP coalition. This is SXM Daily News for Friday, June the 30th, 2023. With a synopsis of local, national, regional, and international news, I am your anchor, Valerie Van Putten. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. In our first story, the United St. Martin U.S. Party has voiced strong dissatisfaction with what they perceive as a disregard for the intelligence, experience, and competence of local professionals in St. Martin. They criticized the trend of outsourcing high-ranking positions and questioned the justification given by Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs for importing a Dutch national for a top managerial role. The U.S. party leaders expressed concerns about the denunciation of local professionals and compared the situation to modern-day slavery. They emphasized the value of experience over taking courses and criticized the use of the term helicopter view to overlook qualified employees. The party called for recognition and reward of local talent, highlighting vacancies that could have been filled by qualified locals. They expressed disappointment with the current government's governing style and its impact on the population. And turning now to other news, when will we finally be able to return to our home? Asked Theodora and Julian Brooks. The elderly couple is still not able to live in their hurricane-damaged house, despite being a beneficiary of the World Bank-funded home repair program. Their roof has been fixed, however, their home is still uninhabitable. The Brooks are desperate. Shortly after Hurricane Irma and Maria in September of 2017, a roof repair program was started by the government of St. Martin. An initial amount of 5 million guilders was budgeted for the program. Eligible for the repair were homeowners who were pensioners with a total monthly income below 4,000 guilders, homeowners who were unemployed, and those on social aid. The roof repair program was transferred to the National Recovery Program Bureau, the NRPB, in February of 2019, where it falls under Emergency Recovery Project 1, ERP1. The program was expanded to a home repair program made possible through $119.7 million in funding from the World Bank managed St. Martin Reconstruction, Recovery, and Resilience Trust Fund, SXMTF. However, when the media reached out to NRPB, the media received the following answer. The National Recovery Program Bureau, NRPB, values the confidentiality of our project recipients and contractors. As such, we unfortunately cannot comment on the individual circumstances of Mr. and Mrs. Brooks or the past and or future litigation of Mr. Arundel and or Confident Construction BV. ERP1 has recently been extended by 13 months with a new closing date of December the 31st, 2025. This news gave the Brooks family a glimmer of hope that the issues at their home was caused by a problem contractor that was assigned by NRPB would be fixed. Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs was asked about these persons not having roofs during Wednesday's Council of Ministers press briefing.
Funding was disseminated directly to some foundations who assisted, as you well know, the Red Cross, the St. Martin Development Fund. They all assisted, they both assisted seniors and other vulnerable persons early in the recovery. The trust fund under the NRPB, on the ERP1, Emergency Recovery Projects, the first phase, also did, as you mentioned, several homes with And this was the description. So when you put out a terms of reference as to what is expected, this is exactly what was done. The criteria was roofs, doors, and windows. In some cases, they did do more where it was necessary to make the place habitable. But the intention with that fund was not for interior inrichting, not for setting up the interior of the homes. And in fact, homes that were completely destroyed were not able to be funded via this. So this was mainly for roofs, doors, and windows. That was initially. I remember a couple of years ago, noting that this was a situation, we went to the finalization of the projects by several homes, and you saw, as you would say, that the kitchen wasn't done or whatever the case may be. What the Ministry of VSR did was they started a project as well, where they tackled, of course, their known recipients of aid who were on that list or hadn't received any assistance at all thus far. And I believe that program is also ongoing. I will double check with the Minister of VSR, where Social Affairs falls, to find out how many have been helped in the meantime, as well as to update on the way forward with this. But of course, it is government's goal to ensure that all our citizens are safe. And I think with the ERP project, it was to ensure you have a shelter so that you can go back in. If persons choose not to go back in based on not having a kitchen finalized or a bathroom back to where it was before, then this is something that would then, if they are within pension age or other low income, they then can request assistance from government, and I encourage them to go via the Ministry of VSR under the Department of Social Affairs. And I will have the ministry update further on what that process is if it's not already out there. Thank you for your concern. It also remains a concern of this government.
In more news, the Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, TEAT, of St. Martin, Mr. Arthur Lambrix, has issued an apology for a mistaken press release regarding Delta Airlines' route expansion plans. The initial announcement stated that Delta would be adding flights from Boston to St. Martin in 2024, but it was later revealed to be an error caused by an oversight. The TEAT ministry retracted the statement and clarified that Delta currently has no plans for the Boston-St. Martin route, where the airline's schedule only confirmed and published until the upcoming winter season. Discussions between Minister Lambrix and Delta representatives focused on exploring opportunities to enhance air travel connectivity, with positive news shared about the airline's recent performance. And as mentioned in an earlier newscast, Alexandra van Huffelen, State Secretary for Kingdom Relations and Digitalization, is visiting St. Martin, Saba, St. Eustatius, Curacao, and Aruba from the 29th of June to the 4th of July. On July the 1st, she will attend slavery abolition commemorations on the three Windward Islands. She will also hold discussions with the prime ministers and various officials of the three countries regarding refinancing of liquidity loans and progress on the national packages. In Curacao, Aruba, and St. Martin, she will visit several projects focused on sustainable economic development of the countries. In St. Martin, the State Secretary will inaugurate the local office of the World Bank, which manages the trust fund allocated for post-Hurricane Irma reconstruction. She will also visit GEBE water and electricity plant, where investments in sustainable energy are needed. On July the 1st, she will attend cultural activities celebrating Emancipation Day, which marks the abolition of slavery in St. Martin. On July the 1st, the State Secretary will travel to Saba and St. Eustatius, where she will deliver speeches in commemoration of slavery abolition. Various activities will be organized on both islands under the theme of Emancipation Day. Stay tuned. SXM Daily News continues with more right after this.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.
During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emma Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welcalaken Road Cahill from Welcalaken Road Roundabout until the One-Tete Loque Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Kupakoy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingolf.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
Welcome back, viewers. You are watching SXM Daily News, and I am Valerie Van Putten. And as we continue now with more in this edition of the news, 2 young men who stood trial for involvement in 15 armed robberies that were committed in November and December of 2021 at a Chinese supermarket and a restaurant, 2 bars, and a lottery booth were sentenced on Wednesday to 24 and 14 months youth detention, respectively. The court of first instance went through all of the charges with 2 defendants and their lawyers during a full-day hearing 3 weeks ago on June 7, 2023. Both suspects were facing similar charges, which included armed robbery and illegal firearm possession. According to the prosecutor's office, the 2 brandished firearms and threatened workers with violence as they forced business personnel to open cash registers and give them money. During each robbery, they took several hundred American dollars. The very extensive case file includes video surveillance camera images showing very clear similarities concerning the perpetrators, their weapons, clothing, and demeanor. The prosecutor said, the prosecutor's office considered most armed robberies and illegal firearm possession proven and called for 8-year prison sentence for 21-year-old Felix Ruel Maduro. His co-defendant Deshaun R. will be turning 18 in 2 weeks' time on July the 12th, and is still a minor and should be sentenced to 2 years youth detention, according to the prosecutor. Despite the fact that Maduro is a young adult, and the court decided to apply juvenile law because the defendant had a difficult childhood without a stable home base. Because he did not have an income to provide for himself, he committed robberies, the court said. Due to the fact that he committed 9 armed robberies, he was sentenced to a maximum term of 24 months youth detention. R. was sentenced to 14 months with his involvement in armed robberies of supermarkets and bars. In sentencing, the court considered a report of the Court of Guardianship, which stated that he was doing well in school and had found himself a full-time job at a hotel. During his trial hearing, R. informed the court that he graduated from the vocational training school and had earned himself a contract at the hotel. Turning now to other news, CIBC First Caribbean recently organized a seminar on property financing, demonstrating its dedication to ensuring the financial well-being of its clients. The event, held at the University of St. Martin, featured speakers from banking, insurance, and real estate sectors. Attendees received valuable insights on various aspects of home ownership, including property types, appraisals, construction tips, and notarial deeds. CIBC First Caribbean sales team leader Merle Debbie Richardson highlighted mortgage qualification information and expressed the bank's commitment to educating and informing the community about home ownership. This seminar further exemplifies the bank's support for clients in achieving their financial goals following previous events focused on financial planning and mortgage series. And turning now to news out of the University of St. Martin, USM, announced the signing of 2 Memoranda of Understanding, MOUs, between the main higher education and research institutions in the Caribbean. Representatives from USM, the University of Curaçao, UOC, the University of Aruba, UA, and Instituto Pedagógico Arubano, IPA, met to discuss collaboration, exchange programs, and mobility within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. One MOU reaffirmed a commitment made in 2014 for cooperation in curriculum development, resource sharing, and research, while the second MOU focused on student exchange programs, credit recognition, and faculty and staff exchange within the framework of the Strategic Education Alliance, the SEA. Funds were allocated for students exchange during a consultation process earlier in the year. The institutions also agreed to establish the Caribbean Higher Education Council of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, CHEC for short, to oversee projects, accreditation, quality assurance, research, and policy advice to ministers. The creation of the CHEC was closely related to the C, which facilitates exchange within the kingdom. Students' exchange will begin in the 2023-2024 academic year with scholarships covering travel expenses and a monthly stipend. The meeting was attended by representatives from the participating institutions and officials from the Ministries of Education. And in sporting news, Team St. Martin recently returned from the Special Olympics World Games in Berlin, Germany. The athletes Maine Verloop and Roger Jeffers participated in the swimming category. Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, Dr. Anders Rodolph Samuel, welcomed the team at the Princess Juliana International Airport upon their arrival. The Special Olympics provides an opportunity for athletes with intellectual disabilities to showcase their skills and abilities and to promote acceptance and inclusion in sports. Government Insider has filed the following report.
We're here this afternoon to welcome home the Special Olympic team, and in particular, the 2 athletes, Mr. Jeffers and Williamaine, who have taken part in the Special Olympics. We are here to let them know that they have made St. Martin proud and that we appreciate them, and we want to say thank you for putting St. Martin on the map, and thank you for doing your best. And we would like to wish them continued success as they move forward.
Now, let's take a look at our weather report. A combination of drier air and Saharan dust is anticipated to restrict significant precipitation across the region. Persons with allergies and/or respiratory illnesses should remain vigilant as air quality will be affected during the next few days. Marine conditions are predicted to be slight during this forecast period. And now let's take a look at our 3-day forecast. And you're watching SXM Daily News. We will have more when the news continues right after this.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin. We live in a world where pets share our collective existence. As such, we have an obligation to take care of them as an integral part to our lives. During hurricane season, protecting pets is crucial. They too have an emotional and physical well-being. Create a space for them, keeping them comfortable, and after the hurricane passes, slowly reintroduce them to their surroundings once safe. This message has been brought to you by the Department of Communication.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.
Welcome back, viewers. This is SXM Daily News. And as we continue now with more news, in news out of Curacao, Seapost International, the Postal Service of Curacao, has launched a unique series of stamps to honor the 160th anniversary of the end of slavery in the Dutch Caribbean. Created by local artists Avantia Damberg, the stamps highlight significant historical events and individuals who fought for freedom and equality. They draw attention to events such as the French Revolution, the struggle for freedom in Saint-Domingue, the uprising of Coro led by José Leonardo Chirino, and the fight for freedom in Curacao led by Tula. The stamps serves as a reminder to commemorate history and work towards a just and inclusive society. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for today and this week, a pioneering coral reef project in Bermuda focused on underwater 3D mapping and coral restoration has the potential to benefit both insurers and storm-vulnerable communities worldwide. The project, led by the Living Reefs Foundation in partnership with the government, aims to strategically plant corals in vulnerable areas to enhance protection and reduce storm damage. Coral reefs have been found to dissipate 85% of wave impact during storms. The initiative offers valuable data that can aid reinsurance companies in developing better coral models for product development, benefiting properties and communities in need of protection. And with that, everyone, we've concluded this edition of SXM Daily News broadcast for Friday, June the 30th, 2023. I am Valerie Van Putten, and on behalf of SXM Daily News team, we do thank you for watching, and we wish you a very pleasant and safe weekend. Bye-bye now.